When talking about buying a condo, most people want to be able to get a good return on investment when you rent it out or when you eventually sell it. However, not all developments are equal. Picking the right condo can mean the difference between a lucrative return versus a flat performance or even losing money. At the end, I will also spill some of the condos that I think fit most of the criteria, so stay tuned for that. Here are the things to look for when you are searching for your next potential condo investment. The number one consideration should be the location, but I would break this down even further into several things: distance to MRT station, proximity to commercial hubs, amenities, and distance to reputable primary schools. Number one is distance to the MRT station. On average, a property typically is 10 to 15% more expensive if it is within walking distance to an MRT station. The gold standard is if it's within 500 meters from the station, not the type where you need to walk for 15 to 20 minutes under the hot sun. Plus point is given if the condo is located near an MRT interchange that provides access to multiple MRT lines, for example Bishan, because it's the interchange between the North-South line and the Circle line. This will also help if you want to rent out the condo. Number two is proximity to commercial hubs. Rental demands for condos in Singapore are typically driven by white-collar workers, so it matters whether your condo is near a commercial hub or not. I'm not just referring to CBD near the Raffles MRT station. Nowadays, there are other commercial hubs in Singapore, such as the One North Business Park, Mapletree Business City, Changi Business Park, etc. It will be good if the distance between the condo and the commercial hub is maximum around 30 minutes commute by MRT. The next one is proximity to amenities. Close proximity to amenities such as grocery stores, hawker food centers, malls, pharmacies, and banks translate to less time spent commuting and running errands. This frees up valuable time for leisure or work. If the condo is an integrated development that has a mall underneath it and it's a managed development, that's even better. But the commercial shops must be the type that is managed centrally. Otherwise, you will end up with shady shops that might impact the value of your property. Last but not least is the distance to reputable primary school. In the past, I thought real estate agents were just making it up when they said there are parents who literally move just to reside within 1 kilometer from a good school, but apparently it's true. Even if you don't have a school-going kid yourself, proximity to reputable primary school will boost your condo's competitive advantage when you are about to sell the unit. It's even better if there are multiple good schools within a 1 to 2 kilometer radius. The second consideration is related to the development itself. I would break this down further into several aspects: number of units, age and freehold or leasehold, floor, unit facing. You might be surprised that in my opinion, actually the deal breaker is not whether the condo is freehold or leasehold. It's actually the number of units in the development. Why? Well, a larger project brings several benefits. Large condo developments usually have higher transaction volume as you have more people selling and buying units there. When your neighbor rents out or sells their property, it becomes the price benchmark for the development. Smaller boutique development, on the other hand, have fewer units. This means you don't have a lot of historical transactions to benchmark prices with. Other than that, a larger development is usually built with more facilities in the compound. The maintenance fee is usually more reasonable in big development too because the overall fee is shared among more units. However, lately we've seen some outliers where maintenance fee for a certain condo is way higher than its neighbor. So, if you are buying a resale condo, please do ask how much the maintenance fee is so it can be part of your consideration. The next aspect to consider is the age and lease status. I think these two factors go hand in hand. In general, it's always wise to consider a new development to minimize any risk of underlying issues with the flat. And also, if the development is relatively new, then the condo facilities usually are still in good condition and that impacts the potential selling price. If your priority is rental yield, then for tenants, actually it doesn't really matter whether it's a leasehold or a freehold as long as the unit is in a good condition and the location is strategic. But if there's a possibility you might want to sell the unit down the road, then you need to consider the age and leasehold. If it's a freehold, some buyers can still be open-minded about the unit even if the property is older than 15 years old. On the other hand, freehold condos are of course more expensive than the 99-year leasehold condos. The entry price may be around 10 to 20% higher. Note that for a 99-year leasehold condo, usually the value tapers once it's crossed the 30 to 40 years mark. Most banks also will grant a lower LTV or loan to valuation ratio for older condos. So in general, a very old condo is not good for investment if it's a leasehold. The only exception is probably if you are confident that it can be en bloc down the road. The next aspect is floor level. Sadly, how high your unit is does have an impact on the selling price. At least, it has to be level 6 or above to qualify for being categorized as a mid-level floor. Generally, low floor units are more difficult to sell and need to be priced lower to attract potential buyers. Unit facing is something that you also need to consider. Obviously, avoid buying a unit that is facing the dumpster, transformer rooms, car park ventilation ducts, or the expressway. If you can find a unit that faces the swimming pool and you don't mind the noise level, typically those are transacted at a higher price as well. Other than that, try finding a unit that is north-south facing unit or northeast-southeast facing unit so your exposure to direct sunlight is limited to mornings only. Last but not least, you should also consider the entry price. Of course, ideally we want a condo that has all the positive qualities and at a cheap price, but in reality, the more checkboxes the property meets, usually the price is also higher. So, what's important is to verify whether you are purchasing at a reasonable price or not. When it comes to evaluating the entry price of a property, you want to reference the price gap between your property and the surrounding properties that are comparable. If it's a new launch, if the price is almost the same as the resale units in the area, that's a very positive sign that it's not overpriced. Now, let's discuss which condos I think meet most of the above criteria. But disclaimer first, this is my personal opinion only and I am not liable for any loss or expenses related to your investment decision. I'm just a random person on YouTube. What do I know, right? Based on when their lease started, here are some examples of condos that I think are a good buy. Grand Dunman, Amo Residences, Kopar at Newton, Affinity at Serangoon, and Woodley Residences. As you can see, all of them are near MRT, near reputable school, and relatively young development. Sadly, there's no freehold on my list simply because of the pricing. And most of them are big developments except for Kopar and Amo. So, what do you think? Is there any other condo that you think is a good investment but not mentioned here? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!